I know no one is really talking about this, so I'm going to say it right here. The Amazing Digital Circus took Disney's Wish, dragged it out back, beat it with a mallet, then with a baseball bat, then with a jackhammer, and then stole its lunch, went and ate its lunch, came back, and beat it up again. This is ridiculous. This is the utter state of Disney, where an indie animation, a pilot episode at that, has come and completely dominated the internet's attention, even almost 2 months after its release. And Wish is set to lose at least $200 million at the box office. What the heck? It is time to really dive into what is going on here. Hi there everyone, Lars here from Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast by novice writers for novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And yes, I do understand that I am basically comparing apples to oranges right here. And I am someone who loves my apples. And you know what? Oranges are really great for this time of year, at least up here where things are getting a little bit colder. The flu begins coming in. Make sure you take your vitamin C. Keep yourselves healthy. They're two very different kinds of fruit. And people love what fruit that they like, or they might not like fruit at all. Yet, we need to draw this comparison. The reason being is because while Disney is absolutely floundering at the box office, creativity wise, it is going down the drain. Something that defined generations of people, their childhood, their creative endeavors, their inspiration to be artists, to be storytellers, to be musicians, to be spokesmen, to be activists, what have you. All of that is going out the window at the 100th anniversary for Disney with its crowning achievement, Wish. Meanwhile, true indie animation is coming and gutting Disney, slashing it at the knees, at the heels, bringing it down, and then absolutely gutting and eviscerating it. And you know what? I am loving every moment of it. So enough of the rant right here. Let's get into this. And I actually am right now working on a script for a much deeper dive into just how significant this really is and why we need to pay attention to it, because no one is. This is huge. Unbeknownst to everyone, there is a massive cultural shift, and people instead are just gloating over the fact that the House of Mouse is falling. But let's step back a moment and talk about this right here. Wish. This should be the crowning achievement of Disney animation. This celebrates 100 years, and if you watch it through to the very end, you have this lovely little montage in the ending credits to all of the big hits in terms of animation, except for Song of the South, because Disney's trying to erase that movie from history. But after an hour and a half plus of just underbaked meh, really, there's so few things I can be like, oh, that was awesome right there. There's one thing, when King Magnifico goes just absolutely insane and bonkers, that was animated really well. Chris Pine did an excellent job of acting out that part. The music sucked, the setting was bland, the character design was boring, most of the characters who you're supposed to fall in love with are completely forgettable. I don't even remember most of their names anymore, and I was there with my sister. We were talking throughout the movie trying to figure out who these people were, and even while discussing the movie, we could not figure out who these people were. It was deplorable, it was forgettable, it was underbaked meh. There's nothing to recommend this movie whatsoever, not even the few moments where you actually laugh or like, ooh, that looked really good, or where the animation was on point. Yes, there were some really good moments, but they were so few and far in between that they were not worth the ticket price or the time to get there. Meanwhile, the Amazing Digital Circus, which you can watch basically for free on YouTube. What does this one have? Within just over 20 minutes of runtime, you have a vibrant setting with a vibrant set of characters who you can remember their names. For one thing, it actually opens up giving you their names in that lovely opening number.
Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into the show.
Bingo and Silver and Peanut too. Raga, the Jack, Kaufmo.
And honestly, it would have been nice to have something like that for Wish, because again, I don't remember any of the characters because they are so forgettable in terms of personality and even their names. And actually, here's another thing. Their names are almost never said when you need them. You're like, wait, who are we talking about again? This is a huge failure. And then the dialogue. The dialogue for the Amazing Digital Circus in 20 minutes is way more memorable with the jokes, the things they talk about, the things that are awful, the things that are good, than anything that you get in Wish. And here's the thing. The quality, the actual quality is the same. I kid you not. For about $300,000 at most, for making the Amazing Digital Circus, it has the exact same animation quality as Wish. And Wish cost over $200 million to make for almost 1,000th of the budget. The Amazing Digital Circus rivals a Disney feature animated film for quality of animation. How bad is that? Now then, again, comparing apples to oranges, you have just a pilot episode, a little over 20 minutes for the Amazing Digital Circus, and you have a little more than an hour and a half for Wish. Wish can cover a whole lot more ground, which it does. The question is it meaningful ground that is covered? It takes such a relatively long runtime to say actually very little in terms of character progression, in terms of overall theme, in terms of wonderment and horror and everything like that. Whereas by the end of the Amazing Digital Circus, by the end of 20 minutes, you're like, I have just watched an existential horror. I am watching Pomni absolutely lose her mind because she has no idea really what she's gotten into. She can't remember who she is. She can feel that there's something there, like her old body, her actual body, but she can't reconnect with it. And here she is with a bunch of people who are equally going insane over time because they are cut off and stuck in this digital world. And they are being given distractions to prevent them from abstracting. And within 20 minutes, you already begin to realize there's a lot going on right here. And we get an actual arc for this pilot episode of Pomni trying to escape, seemingly succeeding in escaping, but then ultimately discovering that it is a futile process. And then there is actually a pretty decent B story as well, with Jax interfering with Kinger and Jangle's mission to go and save Zooble from the Gloinks. That is in and of itself its own little contained story that makes sense within everything else that is given as presented to us. Holy crap, within 20 minutes, the Amazing Digital Circus is actually balancing two stories, whereas Wish barely is able to pull off one. This is where it's just mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling that a production from Disney that has hundreds of millions of dollars behind it and huge teams working on it, why it failed. Why is it failing to indie animation, to a small indie program out of Australia? Now then, yes, I do know some of the answers based on rumors coming from places like WDW Pro and also from the Film Threat channel that there was a hostile takeover of the project by certain ideologues within Disney, that there was too much corporate oversight, and that artists were bullied into doing things that they didn't necessarily want to do. That a very toxic work environment polluted and poisoned what could have been an engaging, sweet story. So yes, a work environment does absolutely influence the end product of any given story or any kind of animated feature. And I understand that. And yet still at the same time, it's absolutely boggling. It is mind-numbing to also think about something right here. That the Amazing Digital Circus is connecting with tens of millions of people, whereas Wish wishes that it could connect with tens of thousands of people. And this is something I'm going to dive into a little bit later when I actually do a much deeper dive into what kind of change this actually means. What is really happening within the overall culture war that we see presented when Wish goes head-to-head with the Amazing Digital Circus. But here's the thing. The Amazing Digital Circus has done something that Disney has not been able to do since arguably Frozen 1, and that is connect with a younger audience. And I'm talking teens to people in their 20s. Teens and people in their 20s are eating up the Amazing Digital Circus. They are the ones who are passing it by word of mouth, by sharing it on the internet, by doing all kinds of great fan art, by doing little fan videos, by dressing up and going to conventions. Again, within 2 months, the Amazing Digital Circus has taken the internet by storm. As of the making of this video, it has more than 152 million views. If those views were to somehow be converted into actual tickets over at a movie theater, which I know, again, comparing an indie animated show on YouTube to a movie in a theater, if it were a one-to-one right here, the Amazing Digital Circus would be absolutely eating Disney alive. That is what's going on here. Now, I do want to quickly answer right here in this video, honestly, why the Amazing Digital Circus is connecting as opposed to something like Wish. The Amazing Digital Circus is tapping into the zeitgeist that many young people are going through. Many younger individuals don't feel very hopeful about the future. They feel stuck in an existential crisis of the world burning around them. I have had this difficult conversation with loads of teenagers, and they have shared with me that they honestly feel afraid. They're not sure if they're going to wake up to see the sunrise tomorrow, and not through any fault of their own. And yet they do. They wake up and then it's a brand new day. The future is coming for them, but they feel like they'll never have the chance to enjoy it. And what then happens is you have this weird paradox that you feel stuck in. Where are you going? You feel insane. Who am I? Am I going to enjoy any sort of happiness? Where am I going with my life? In that kind of a situation, sure, there's a lot of angst, but there's also a lot of gallows humor. There's a lot of dark humor that younger people just tap on into. And so when you have something like the Amazing Digital Circus or even Murder Drones that taps into this existential fear, that taps into dark humor, that taps into angstiness, this connects with millions of young people all over America and really all over the world. And that is how you get something that's viral, that's big. Now, the story for Wish, which is you have a wish, you have a desire, and you should work hard in order to get it because you can change the world, that is a fantastic message. Wouldn't it be nice if the movie Wish actually focused on that? When you step back to think about the story within the movie Wish, everyone is happily giving up their wishes to the king so that way he can grant them. But he will only grant them if they truly benefit people and if they won't threaten any sort of disruption or harm to his kingdom. Now that's something actually really compelling, but they never develop why he feels that way. It's only ever hinted at, and as such, you'd never really get to understand the king, and so he just comes off as a hollow villain. And hollow villains aren't really any kind of fun. And then when you think about the people, and the people know that by giving up their wish that they change, well, you don't really feel any sort of sympathy for them because you're like, you guys are giving up your wish in the hopes that it's going to be magically granted to you rather than working hard to get what you want. And even the main character is kind of in that frame of mind. It's only when she realizes that she's not going to get her wish that she's like, well, fine, then I might as well just work hard for it. If you had the mentality of working hard to obtain your dreams, none of you people would be in the miserable position that you are right now. And it doesn't come off as a revolutionary idea because it's actually an idea that they never even build on until the last 3 minutes of the movie. What could be a very empowering message is skipped over for stupid jokes and for the message, which the message, it doesn't even make any sense here. And I'm not even talking about the, oh, here is the leftist progressive message, which, what do you mean, what even is that? I'm sorry, it doesn't actually make any sense. And so the movie, in many ways, doesn't make any sense. We left the movie theater, my sister and I and her husband, talking about it and honestly being confused as to what we had just watched and talking about things that we enjoyed far more than watching Wish. It made us think about everything else that could be fun about the things that Disney had once done that was great, and whatever message that there was within the movie is completely lost. There is no connection from viewer to movie. As opposed for many viewers to the Amazing Digital Circus, especially younger viewers, it doesn't address the issues that they feel in their life, but it has the same atmosphere that they feel that they live in. Disney no longer knows how to connect to their audience. And that is why an indie animated project, a pilot episode, is right now one of the top ranked indie animated features of all time on YouTube. It's not the most watched, but it's climbing up there in less than 2 months. And as I said, in a future video, I'm going to get into the bolts, the nuts and bolts, the bells and whistles of what's actually happening right here, and show to you that things are truly changing on a creative level, on a cultural level, on an economic level that people are not paying attention to. Because where Wish is losing $200 million easy plus some, and the Amazing Digital Circus is not making $200 million, people are missing the point that there is a very subtle shift that is happening. And if Hollywood and entertainment pundits, entertainment reviewers, and other people like that here on the internet do not pay attention to it, they could very easily become blindsided by the rising generation of creators who are taking their stories in hand and are changing things and connecting in a way that most people are not realizing, because the house of mouse is burning and we are enjoying the bonfire rather than paying attention to the real changes. So look forward to that upcoming video if you'll be interested in actually having a really concrete dive into all of this means, how things are changing, and calling some people out a little bit on their BS and their negligence. Then please make sure that you have subscribed to Camille's Harem. Make sure that you've clicked the bell notification to receive the notifications for when that comes out. In the meantime, if you're looking for more reviews, insights, especially writing advice for all of you novice authors out there, then please check our other videos here on our channel. And if you would, again, like to support what we do here, check out the books that we ourselves have written. We've published a number of books. The links for them are in the description below. We would love it if you checked it out. But otherwise, thank you so much for taking time to watch this video, to spend some time here with us, the members of the Harem. And until the next video, y'all, tschüss.